Hi there, and welcome to the Call of Cinema. I am Aaron, and this is my cousin Raj. And tonight we are talking about that poster that's kind of like just floating about in between us there, and that is Halloween Kills. Now we watched that on Peacock last night because not at the theater, but one of these days hopefully. And we also watched Halloween 2018 as well because you gotta watch them together. We did a Halloween-a-thon, and this was my first. This was the first time that my cousin Roger got to see Halloween 2018. So we're going to give our thoughts on that first because it's really going to be important when we're talking about Halloween Kills. And I won't tell you what our positives or negatives yet. We'll get into that there, and then we'll give our overall like kind of scoring on Halloween Kills and what we thought of it overall as a movie and as like a second part in a trilogy, because that's a very important designation to make. So Halloween 2018, you watched it for the first time last night. And how many Halloween films have you seen so far? Like all in all.
I guess at least three, possibly four with the original second Halloween movie. Yeah, I'd say maybe four, three at least.
And none of those were the zombie one.
No, and I have no desire to watch those.
All right, so let's start with your thoughts on 2018. Positives, negatives on 2018. So, what were your thoughts when you watched the Halloween 2018, the new kind of the David Gordon Green reboot for the kind of, I guess, sequel to the original film?
Well, to be honest, I was slightly spoiled because I watched Ryan George's pitch meeting for Halloween 2018, and entertaining, and maybe a little spoilers in it. But after hearing his pitch meeting, it made me want to go and see it more. And so, and from what he said in his pitch meeting, and from what I saw in the movie, it was almost exactly what I expected it to be, and it was. I found it quite entertaining. Negatives, I can't think of any. It was a very enjoyable movie, I must say, and I don't know, it the whole movie just seemed to work. I mean, I don't know if Aaron can refresh my memory about anything like that you saw, because I really enjoyed the movie, Halloween 2018.
One of the biggest pluses on Halloween 2018, and we're going to talk about this again in Halloween Kills, is that the characters are extremely well done in 2018. They're very likable, and there are characters in the film, and they're even like smaller characters that don't have the most gigantic role. The babysitter, her stoner boyfriend, the kid, are all likable to the point where you do not want to see either one of them die. So when they actually do die, I find that you feel it. It just kind of hits you a bit more, and that's in the writing, which was something that I know that some people criticized. And films and art, remember, is subjective. So your opinion and my opinion may not be the same, but at the end of the day, it's important to respect everybody's opinion and what they think of the film, even though I'll have the more right opinion. No, no, seriously, no. Film's subjective, in all seriousness. I really liked the 2018 film. I thought they did a really good job. I enjoyed watching it. I liked the kills in 2018. I liked the fact that some of them were off screen more, more like the original Halloween. And as we'll get into how Halloween Kills kind of did it in a slightly different way, we'll talk about that as well. I liked the camera work in the film. I thought it was really good. The score was phenomenal in Halloween. It was just an amazing score. And it opens up in the way that I wanted to. If there's one thing that I kind of found like unintentionally hilarious in the film, it is that he stands behind Michael Myers and he puts out the mask and he's like, say something. This mask, the one you can't see because I'm behind you. look, it's your mask, dude. Totally, you can feel it. You can feel its presence. Of course, you can. It's a nitpick, but also that character of Aaron, one of the greatest names in cinema of all time, and two, he was such an interesting character, and the way they show him, kind of like bloody and humped, kind of down in the washroom, I didn't believe he was dead. So I was very surprised. I will get into that actually, but that well, I'll say it right now that he wasn't in this film and is supposedly dead. Like you could tell that the girl was killed, but he didn't look like he got messed up, but he didn't look like he was killed in the first one. Like I guess you can assume where the blood was coming out of his mouth and stuff like that, but he still looked alive. He didn't look like he was going to be passing or anything like that. And there were characters in Halloween that showed up in Halloween Kills that I was pretty sure were dead. But actually, it was spotted from me a while back. And it's not a spoiler or anything like that. One of the characters, and we're going to go into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen Halloween Kills, please watch it first. One of the spoiler things, and people actually got upset about this, Raj. So Jamie Lee Curtis went online and had on her Instagram a picture of the guy of Bill Patton, the guy that plays Hawkins.
Well,
Will Patton, thanks. And well, I know I'm so good. I come now. But she put a picture up there, and some people got upset. Said, "Oh my God, this is a spoiler. He's in the movie." Seriously, this is your version of spoiler? I don't think so. And we're actually said like kind of nasty things to Jamie Lee Curtis, on her Instagram.
like
One,
he's in the movie. Yeah, there's lots of people in the movie.
yeah, like I thought he was dead for sure. Surprise. But it's not something that, and as you saw after watching Halloween Kills, you had to have him in there. And two, knowing that he was alive doesn't spoil the movie for anybody, because within the first few seconds of the film, this is something that you know, or right away. So I guess let's get into Halloween Kills. You have anything more about Halloween though?
Yes, I'm not sure if it was just a progression of the character of Michael Myers in this movie at the onset from when he escapes. But as you see later in the in Halloween, I guess Halloween a bit, is that he, after he kills the people, he sort of arranges them in a way like a kid playing with his toys and like that, and but at the beginning he just kills people and he doesn't do anything. So right now I'm going to put that down as just a progression of his escape and then his continued development between the first Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills.
So that's a good point, because here's the thing. When he's just escaped, the way that I see it is that it's like a caged animal that is like he's been caged up for like 40 years, and when he gets out, it's just like a force of nature, just getting back into the flow of killing. But like when we see him like kind of move and kind of put the bodies in certain positions, and we'll get more into it when we talk about Halloween Kills. It goes back and it puts a different light onto the original 1978 Halloween film, because in the original Halloween film, he takes Annie's body, he puts it on the bed, put Judith Myers' tombstone on the bed, like has all the bodies situated, and it takes the sequence with the ghost, where he's dressed up as a ghost, as Bob, in a different light, because we see that he's not just doing it just to scare you, but it's cold, it's cruel. And there's a scene there where it really hits home, but in this one it makes it seem more like he didn't just put on the ghost thing as kind of so he could come in there and get Linda without her knowing. It seems more like he really did want her to think Bob was killing her, because Michael is cold and Michael is cruel, much more so in this film. But he still, with that, is cruel in the way that a child would be cruel, in the way that like a kid, someone that stopped growing at a certain age, just how kind of like, what I mean like by growing, I mean like mentally growing, would be. Like kids, like some of the meanest people. If you were growing up, remember when you were a kid, man, we could be nasty, we could be cruel. Kids could be cruel, kids could be mean. There could be bullies, could be. And you see some bullies in the second film, by the way, and we get to see that with him. We get to see that he's stuck at that stage, so he's got that extra kind of level of like unabashed cruelty that you have as a child, that you kind of hope as you grow up, you hope to kind of progress, and like, okay, you don't say things as they come out of your head, at the top of your mind. You become a bit more what's the word I'm looking for, you're a bit more refined. You don't, you become a bit more of a diplomat as you grow older, because you realize as you get older, people have feelings get hurt, and as a child, it's not, you're more, those guards are off. You're not at the point where you're like, oh no, I said something wrong. You say things, you do things, and you say things that are like unintentionally mean, unintentionally cruel. And I think, and it's just me, maybe I'm reading a bit too much into it, that Michael is the same as he was when he was 6. And when you're 6 years old, you don't have that refined sensibility. And he's definitely got the body of like of a man, of a monster. And by the way, nothing in this is supernatural. David Gordon Green, just if anybody is wondering, nothing in any of these 2 films are supernaturally, as stated out in every interview, that nothing here is meant to be seen in a supernatural light. This is not, when he say the boogeyman, this is a man. This is a man, obviously, who can take a lot of pain, but it's still a man. So I know people get confused with that. We'll talk about that more with Halloween Kills. But that's my thought on it anyway. Did you kind of get that? Like the kind of the regression aspect of being at that age and being cruel, but as like a child version of cruel.
I can see that.
So, Halloween Kills. We watched it last night, and there were some mean people online. I'm gonna say, and it doesn't matter if you liked it or you didn't like it. It's just be respectful of other people's like thoughts and sensibilities. And I was on a few like Facebook websites, and where people were very much not respectful of what other people thought. And here's the thing: you may love this movie, or you may not like this movie. You may totally agree or disagree with what me or Roger had to say, and that's perfectly fine. But understand that we're giving our views on our thoughts and feelings of the film, and that no way negates or like anybody else's thoughts on the film, unless you're really being like really mean and hateful and you're saying, well, I guess this means that this is the worst film in the franchise, and not even close, by the way. But no, this is, so overall, like, just before we get into it, did you enjoy Halloween Kills?
That is a complex question with probably a complex answer.
I'm going to sneak out here for a second.
That may be answered during this video. Yeah, I to me, honestly, I don't think I can give a straightforward answer as to whether I like or dislike this movie, Halloween Kills.
Well, let's do a pro and con. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
All right. So let's go with the cons first, because a lot of people love the negativity. I laid on for a second there, Michael. So I want your cons for Halloween Kills. Like what stood out for you is like something you really didn't like, or that kind of took you out of it, or something that was different, like a bit different.
Well, if anything that took me out, it was the mob scene.
Roger, evil dies tonight.
If this is the last movie, actually, I'd hope that evil died that night. But since we have another movie after this one, then Halloween ends. So, But I mean, I understand the mob scene. I've never been in a mob, so I can't. I don't think I'd be able to tell you on how I would feel or anything.
Well, there was that person we torched about a few years back, but let's forget about that. The mob scene for me was by far like the weakest sequence. But I know why it's there. I understand why it's there. I just think that it was overplayed. The ending to the mob scene, how it ends, is freaking heartbreaking. It was for me anyway. What we're going full in, unsheathed spoiler on this here. When when the guy dies, like he literally can't take anymore. This confused mental patient. It's the umbrella guy from the first film. Did you see at the beginning of the first film? It's got the umbrella in the first one. So he literally has to jump out a window and he kills himself, and it's graphically shown because we're meant to see what their psychosis, what this here mob mentality has caused, and they want to show us what happens in a town like this when someone like Michael Myers comes in and permeates and in a way infects what the town. I just don't think that was the best way that this could have been done. I know that like having the guy, and they said, well, he's not the same size as Michael, he's bigger and chubbier. I thought that was more of a throwback to Resurrection with the guy that we see in Resurrection. But at the beginning, and I know a lot of people don't like Resurrection, but those people just don't have enough fun in their lives, because if you don't like a movie where Busta Rhymes kung fu's Michael Myers, I'm sorry. That's you need to take it a little bit less seriously. But okay, so in all seriousness, it was the fact that they kind of cut in and out of it a bit. It kind of like killed the pace at certain portions of the film by beginning into a scene, and then they go back to the mob scene again. And I'm like, it was a waste of Sheriff Brackett. Sheriff Brackett was brought back to do this, and I thought like they could have done a bit better for the character of Brackett, because Annie was killed in the first film. That was his daughter. She was a dark-haired hot one, and so and he's like working as I guess a security guard at the hospital, and eventually everybody gets to the hospital, which we'll get into that portion of it afterwards. But if there's anything that kind of like took me out a bit, it was that. Though I do think the ending paid off, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. But for me, the ending paid off. So did it kind of stall it a bit for me, like going through? It did. Do I think that in future rewatches it's going to work a bit better? Actually, I think it might. But after watching 2018 right before it, and it was really solidly paced. This was very much of a different pace of a film, and just a different beast. For one, this movie is more brutal. The kills are done to be more brutal. It's done much in a version like when John Carpenter made Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. It was a much more brutal, more bloody film. There was the hospital saying there was a lot of homages to other films, just like there was in the first one. But some of these worked better, and some of these worked less than the ones in the first one. But for me, that like right at the gate, this was the one thing that kind of stood out as a sore thumb. At that end, a little bit of even though I liked the writing, I do think that some of the dialogue in the film was a little heavy-handed, especially the Evil Dies Tonight and stuff like that, and the fact that they're doing this like talent show at a bar, at Lonnie's bar, and like he gets out there, I'm Tommy Doyle, and here let me tell you the story of Halloween, and he tells us like really ominous, kind of creepy things. So I'm thinking, okay, Tommy could be the next Loomis. I'm like, this is really good. Like they're doing like a Paul Rudd type of thing, where it's going to make Tommy the next Loomis, even though it should be Aaron, the podcaster, because he has a cool name and English accent, and he's got the beard. But Tommy goes batshit. Like the Tommy is like probably I love the actor Anthony Michael Hall. I was not a big fan of Tommy. Like I thought it was gonna be, but as much as the PTSD of Laurie rings 100% true, and anybody that says that she couldn't be this damaged or couldn't have this much PTSD from like one night of murders, yeah, you go through one night of murders, because I'll say right now, you probably don't get what PTSD means if you don't understand Laurie. The fact that Laurie's bothered by the fact that somebody killed her entire friend group in one evening. but yeah, I did not like Tommy Doyle's character. That was it was. He started out okay, and I started liking him. But as we went farther through, when the mob scene comes by, and it's the mob scene again, comes back to that mob scene.
Yeah.
I think they like take a character that's pretty solid all the way through, old Huckleberry, and they they kind of mess him up right there. Lindsay, however, want to see more of her. Holy crap, she was really good. She got to her. Now this is a girl that Real Housewives or something like that, right? Anyway, so there's this thing called Real Housewives. Apparently, I don't know. I've never watched it before, but apparently she's in one of those things. So it's one of those reality show things. So I thought, okay, she may not be the best actress for this, but she was really good. There's a murder sequence there. Oh man, and where she's running and hiding, and I thought for sure she was going to be killed. And I'm hoping to see her in the next film because she was so good in this one. So what are your other negatives, or any more negatives?
This, I'm going to say this. This movie seems like a bridge between 2018 and the next movie that's coming up.
Well, it is. So is Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, but this is based on what you said last night.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene, there's a flashback scene with Hawkins, Will Patton's character, that deals with the night he didn't kill Michael Myers in the original movie, and it. Well, I'm thinking that the purpose of those flashback scenes were for something coming up in the next movie, because it
doesn't pay off at all.
Yeah, there's no conclusion, no forward movement, except for the present day Hawkins to mention it when he's talking to Laurie Strode in the hospital.
Feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Feeling kind of guilty. It's not your fault.
And so, So I'm assuming that will pay off.
I don't think it will. I mean, I think like for that scene, Laurie Strode. Strode. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how many times I get names wrong in this here? All the time. But see, the thing is that when something traumatic happens to somebody, it's they see it through their own inner monologue. So Laurie is thinking Michael's coming to get her. He's going to come to the hospital. He's after her. He wants to get her. And we find out throughout this film, some people were upset with this. I actually think this is brilliant. It got fuck all to do with Laurie. He wants to go home. She just happens to be in the way. Happened to be in the way at the time. And in the first film, she was dropping off the keys. That was it. For Patton's character, and I could be wrong. Like maybe we'll pay off, maybe do something different. But for me, I think it was the same thing. Is that in that because of what happened with him, and I think we really didn't need it so much. But for him, it's like it's my failing. Like I didn't let them kill Michael. This is me. I'm the one. So they're blaming themselves for this thing and like think, oh, I'm the reason, because they want to put a bit of ownership on this stuff. And it's like it's understandable, but it's a bit like that's the way a lot of us are. Like we see things like the way that we see things. A lot of times we don't go and say, okay, well, there's a serial killer. They're doing this because, well, they're a serial killer. If you come like in touch with them, then you're going to be it's going to leave much more of an effect on you most of the time than it is on them. I'm sure that people that Ted Bundy killed or people that were murdered, there are a lot of them, sadly, are probably a blur to him, but to every one of that families, the victims of the families, stuff like that, it's extremely personal. And I think Hawkins took this as something as a personal failure for him because he accidentally kills a person, and Laurie because she's the one that gets away, and he comes after her trying to kill her. She figures, no, okay, I'm his focus, and none of them are. Like it's the house, and Laurie's had this PTSD. So some people thought, well, does this take away from the fact that she had PTSD, that she spent all this time? Not at all. Actually, if anything, it makes it more tragic and more heartbreaking that she spent her life focusing on this. And it's not unrealistic at all to see somebody that does this. That's the way post-traumatic stress disorder, that's the way it works. It's not, there's no like pill or no cure-all. And you can go through a whole ton of different feelings and emotions, and you know what, it's a mental health thing. You may not get better the way you want to. It's a day-by-day struggle, and we see it more realistic here, for instance, than we would in H2O. Did you see H2O?
No, I didn't.
So in H2O, it's another based on another timeline, and this one, Laurie is his sister, except now she's like she can't really deal with stuff. So due to the fact that she's got a kid, he's a teenager. He's played by Josh Hartnett, and she's the headmistress of a boarding school out in the middle of nowhere, and she's changed her name to Carrie something. So to me, that was extremely wasn't that realistic, because PTSD Laurie in this timeline, she's messed up. But the PTSD Laurie in the other timeline, it's like, I'm messed up. I'm drinking all the time. I'm popping pills, but I'm also the successful headmistress of a school. And I know you can like go through like be like a functional alcoholic or whatever, but it just didn't ring as true to me. Though I do like H2O too. But anyway, you're next. Any more negatives or positives, or should we do the positives? Do you have more negatives to go with?
I thought there was something.
I talk a lot and like make him lose his train of thought.
I thought I had something. Nothing big, but just a little niggling thing. But I can't remember what it was now. No.
Let's we go into some of the positives and then come back to it if you think of something brings it to you.
Yeah.
So positive for the film for Halloween Kills.
Like the 2018, like Halloween 2018, the characters were really well. Aside from the mob, the characters were really well done. They were fleshed out. I found, really likable. Even the character that was in the 2018 movie, that was someone that you might want to not like, turns out to be likable in this movie.
Cameron.
Yes, Allison's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, or and again, for the most part, these are people that you do not want to die. And Lonnie.
Lonnie was so good.
Cameron's father, right?
Yeah. Now, I loved the characterization in this film. Like as much as I didn't like the kind of the mob sequence of the film, it sadly rings true. Like I wish I could say that our society isn't that ugly, but look outside. Unfortunately, there's way more of that than there should be. But here we go. Come on, light. I love the character of Cameron, and I was kind of iffy on they're bringing him back. He really didn't have much to do in the first one, but oh my God, is he important and kind of a linchpin for the beginning of this film. And not only bring in Cameron, they bring in Lonnie, his dad, of course, who had been mentioned in the first one. Lonnie gets a flashback, which actually is a better flashback than Hawkins' flashback, yes, in my opinion. Yeah. It's really well done. Those bullies, as a dad, I just want to slap the crap out of those those kids. Good actors, so. So when the oldest of the bullies gets killed, gets kind of beheaded, I was like, yeah, why didn't you kill the other one?
But you brought that up, just another little one of the niggling things, I guess. I'm not sure if this is one I was thinking about, but he's killed, but also three other people are killed, but we only see three bodies that are displayed.
Yeah.
So, what happened to
the kid? The body?
Yeah, the
somewhere
kid.
else, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but
probably by his parents. By the way, this Michael at his parents' house. I do have to say, new characters. Big John, Little John. Loved these characters.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, were these ever
were
good characters? They were not stereotypical characters at all.
No.
I like that aspect of it, and they just did it so well. They made them like realistic, likable characters. There were a couple. Michael, what's his name? Michael.
Sorry, I don't know.
Anyway, so one of the guys from Mad TV actually, he's like a comedic actor, is in this one here. He plays Little John. And there's Big John, there's Little John, and they are a gay couple that lives in the Myers home now, and they've pretty much they're in love, but they're not like they're a couple. They're not shown off to be. They're not like sometimes in movies they'll go kind of like, oh, this is overly stereotypical, or there's nothing like that. These are just a really nice couple that looks like that they really care about each other, and they play off each other well, and they kind of like rag on each other sometimes. So it seems like a real relationship, and they're in the Myers house. You know what's going to happen to them, and you feel so sad. And this is where it comes into one of the displays of what Myers does. And he takes after he kills them, he takes their body and he puts them done like the picture on the mantle of them.
Yeah.
And some people, and I saw people online said, "Well, maybe Mars that was a sentimental like thing for Mars. Maybe Mars feeling kind of a sweet thing to do." No, the complete opposite of that. It was cold, it was cruel, and it was mocking. So that if somebody came in and had knew them and comes into their house and finds these bodies, then this picture that was like their picture basically of them as a couple, of their love, is destroyed by posing them like that. This Michael is really cruel, and I love that aspect of Michael Myers. Really, truly do. But these characters are so fun when we get to I want to see more of them and less of the mob.
Yes.
Because oh my God, like every time we went back to the mob, like they're running upstairs, like, oh, let's go up to how many friggin' stairs do they have to go up in this place? Like, oh, let's
or even a comparable person character or a couple of characters, because
like those were that's my biggest right now. That's my biggest complaint at this point. But I love these characters. I love Little John. I love Big John. Lonnie's new character was really good. Lindsay as a character was really good. I hope to God we get to see more of her character, and not in a way where she's going to die. She's also very attractive. Lindsay grew up well, and that is actually the actress who played Lindsay in the original. I think it's Kyle Richards or something like that. Kyle Richmond, something like that. I'm not great with like the names of the actors, but really enjoyed them. If there's anybody that kind of, and it still goes back to the mob scene, by the time the mob scene was over, Tommy Doyle, I was done with Tommy. I was like, because he comes in at first, he has this like really heartfelt thing with Laurie, like, I'm going to protect you the way you protected me when I was a kid, and by the way, I'm going to protect you by not listening at all to what you're saying when you're yelling out like that it's not the guy, that this is not the one. And even after it happens, even after they realize, and people around are realizing, oh crap, this is the wrong person, we literally caused somebody to die, he doesn't take ownership. He says, well, are you sure? Michael always wore a mask. And like, are you serious? You look at that body that's down there on the ground. Like, even at that point, he's got to be a dick. You can't take ownership. And that really stuck with me. That's one. Did that hit you? Because that really hit me, that scene. Like, oh, well, he didn't. He always wore a mask. Are you sure it's not him? Like, he doesn't want to admit that, okay, I screwed up. That was...
Yeah, because there's one scene when Karen, right? Karen, when Karen sort of puts the I'll say Umbrella Man in a secure, somewhat secure area from the mob, and and she's trying to tell the people that it's not him. There's a scene where Tommy says it's not him. Oh, like he's sort of realizing that it's not him at that location at that moment before Umbrella Man dies. But then after he dies, then it sort of seems weird that you'd say, are you sure it's not him? Like like okay.
Yeah, it's like once the mob like furs are kind of like gone off. It's there's a amount of shame, and his character is not ready. As Catherine Tate's character would say, no, I'm not bothered. But it's no, yeah, his character, like for me, is that Tommy was done then. So when later on, Tommy's got this like old Huckleberry bat that he's holding. When that bat gets turned on Tommy, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yes. Now I wasn't like, oh no, not Tommy Doyle. No. This version of Tommy Doyle's Dick, and it was written to be that way, and I completely get it. It's not the way that I would have gone with Tommy Doyle. That's probably the mob scene and the characterization of Tommy Doyle are probably my two biggest like sticking points when it comes to this film. There's one other, and
let me just say about Tommy Doyle, like not quite as bad as you, like you said when he got killed, you said yes, okay, yeah. Well, to me, when he got killed, I just didn't care because I didn't find his character was.
That's even worse. Like that's a more damning indictment of his character. Like if you don't care at all,
he's not. His character isn't done to make you like want to care about him.
And which is weird because this is a movie that's filled with characters that just come in and out of it and that you do care about.
Yeah,
like you care about Hot Nurse and Doctor.
Yeah, like when he was first introduced in the movie, you sort of feel empathy for him when he tells the story, and
that was a good introduction.
And you can understand his initial anger when they think that Michael Myers is out in the parking lot, but after that, just I don't know, his character just falls apart.
Yeah. Spirals down. And I get what they're doing with this character. And Anthony Michael was a good choice for the role because he's a damn good actor. And he makes you like and hate the character pretty much throughout. Well, not for you apparently. But for me, I liked him and he had a very cool introduction. But as it goes on, like his characters, it falls apart. And as somebody that lived in a small town, much like a Haddonfield, I saw people like that growing up, and people that like would seem like they were like the big guys, the tough guys, the pillars of the community, and the facade would come off, and the facade comes off. But it's not that he's a bad guy. It's that he's permeated by this like fear and hate that Myers has brought into this town again, and that's what that's what David Gordon Green was trying to get across, is how evil can affect a town, especially a small town. So much in the same way that you watch Twilight Zone episodes, like The Monster on Maple Street and stuff like that, and you see people really, you start to see the nastier sides of people, and their paranoia and their psychoses come through. Like Rod Serling wrote some amazing stories about that. We get to see it here in this film, and I don't think that it works as well as a Monsters on Maple Street does. Like, I can see where he's going with it, but I don't think that he always succeeds. Now, from there, like we said, some of the pluses with some of the actors. Did anyone stand out to you, like actor-wise, like that you really liked?
For kills?
Well, not for the kills part, just the actors themselves. We'll get to kills.
No. I mean for Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like nobody's Aaron, but.
Stands out. Well, as Cameron was more developed, he stood out, and and which I think was on purpose, in my opinion, because he, spoiler here. As Aaron said, we're going to have spoilers. Um, he Michael kills him.
The most brutal death in the whole
Yeah, yeah, and the most, yeah, and with his girlfriend there, and I think, in my opinion, I think the reason why they made him fleshed out his character so much and made him so likable and like he was is because I'm thinking that they wanted us to feel the same as, about his death as Allison, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, felt about his death. To produce as much empathy as possible for about the character.
Man, does it work for me? Because not only have they fleshed him out by bringing him back and like having him like save Hawkins and bring him into the storyline, but they bring his dad into it too,
Yeah.
which has another kind of father-son dynamic. So you really get like a very fleshed out character.
Yeah.
With this one here. So yeah, Cameron 100%. Cameron and Lonnie were like true like rock stars in this one here.
Yeah.
I love this thing that some people were complaining about. I love that they let Laurie take a backseat for this film. Yeah. I don't think she was needed to be out in the front. Yeah. And we needed this to, like, it wasn't realistic for her to be out in the front, like her to be like, she was stabbed and that, so she's going to just jump out and get, all like kind of Linda Hamilton on it. This, she's hurt. She's figuring it out. And of course, this is going to become even more big into the next one because the fact that she was not out there with the mob is going to hit her so hard when she realizes, here's your biggest spoiler, end of the film. Mm-hmm. That's going to be that is definitely going to be torturing Laurie in the next film. Things were done in a specific reason for a specific way. If the one that hit me most, I'm a huge fan of Judy Greer. Huge crush on Judy Greer, by the way, as well. And so when she dies, and she was I love her character. In the first one, she got that scene, Mom, I can't do it. You got to help me, Mom. And he comes up to stop the stairs. She's like, yeah. Gotcha. And she does it again in this one here. I'm going to miss the gotcha in part 3.
Yeah. I personally, for me, the Halloween 2018 was the fact that, yes, Michael Myers was going out killing people and on a set course or whatever, but there was also the strong women. Strong women in horror movies impress me. Yeah. They're such wonderful characters to see. So impressive. And I lost my train of thought.
Characterization.
Yeah. 2018, Halloween 2018, was the fact that it was. I don't want to scare anybody now who likes horror movies. That is sort of a little bit of an action movie too, like where they're getting, they're fighting back. The heroes are fighting back against the evil. So, sort of a action movie type vibe a little bit. If you have seen 2018, you might know what I mean. If you haven't seen the 2018, then when you do, you might see it. I got lost in my thought.
So do you think that the
kills
with Halloween Kills?
Oh shit. Halloween Kills.
Stay or like it.
Yeah. Halloween Kills. The characters were. You might have to hit this. I enjoyed the characters. The characters that were fleshed out in Halloween Kills, and what came time. There's a final fight scene between members of the mob and um, uh, Michael Myers. And I think, well, it's one of those things that sort of gets on my nerves with horror movies, especially with characters that are long lasting, and they say, okay, let's kill him, and then they attack him, but they do an inadequate job of attacking him, and I know he's supposed to come back in the next movie because he's Michael Myers, but Aaron, I almost found that wasted, that final fight scene, due to the fact that he's coming back, and
the slaughter.
Yeah, like I guess it'd be another one of the mob part scenes that takes takes out for me. Takes me out of the movie. As as there's a movie, enjoying it, and then this scene comes along, and what should be done, what needs to be done, though this probably wouldn't need to happen until the next movie.
But the next movie's going forward in time, though.
Yeah, I know, and which really scares me at this point, because so they let Michael Myers get away, and what's he been doing for the past however long?
Don't look. Okay, now hopefully they've learned from Rob Zombie's films not to show us that, because we don't want to know. Has he been living like a hobo, eating dogs or whatever? I don't care. I don't care what he's doing in that year. Maybe he's off to Bermuda, like getting his tan, getting ready, pumping up for the next year. Got pictures of all the townsfolk that were hitting him with stuff. You're dead. So he's not spoken, which is good as well. In these two movies, we got to see more of Michael's face than we have ever, and it's done in a way that it's good, and it's not in the way that he looks like the director. So that was good as well. But for me, one thing I guess I love the kills in this movie. Oh my god, the kills are great. They're ramped up. They're more on the screen kills than in the first film, because it's a sequel, and this is the largest body count of any Halloween film, and one of the larger counts of a slasher film. Some of us say, no, this is the largest slasher film count ever. No, it's not. I'm gonna guess no, it's not. And people will go with but are those confirmed kills? which seems like one of those, well, actually, type for things. But no, there's a lot of things. There are things you can rag on this movie about, but the kills are not one of them. Oh my god, when he gets that, when he's doing the fireman.
Oh yeah.
What a good kill sequence that was. That was so brutal. And when he takes that the blade, the
saw, you mean?
Yeah, it was so cool. And he puts it in somebody's face, and then when he pokes the guy's eyes in, and he really, really loves killing. This is his thing. He's like a giddy schoolgirl, wee killing. He loves it, and he loves to pose the people and to take his time when he can. But when he gets really angry, Hawk smash, and he gets brutal. And they make the stupid mistake a lot of the time throughout this film of there are times when they could hey, why don't we shoot him in the head? Let me get my bat. I'm gonna stab him right in the shoulder. Oh yeah, in the shoulder. And you're because when we saw him Karen stab him, first I'm oh my god, did she stab him right in the neck? Did she freaking get his kind of pretty much get his spinal cord detached? That's brutal, man. I guess he is going to have to be supernatural in the film in order to go on. And then it kind of pans out, and you see it's in his shoulder, and they're oh, it's all over now. She got him that major shoulder heart, that second shoulder heart we don't know about. But yeah, that definitely was like a because you knew like there's a point like, oh man, it's really brutal. He's really getting beaten, and then you realize, wait a minute, how come nobody's shooting him? Like really shooting him? Like I watched the Church of the Batman. Looks awesome, by the way, and he gets shot more times in one of those sequences than Michael Myers ever has.
Yeah.
He survives it. So, I guess lots of Kevlar works really well. Really, really well. But we'll get to that in another video. But yeah, so the kills were brutally done. The characterization was really good. Pacing overall was good. I don't think pacing was as good as the first one.
No, and
Was a bit off. I mean, like some of the editing, I think, is what threw the pacing out. The mob sequence and the kind of the go backing. Although I really loved kind of like the flashback sequences.
yeah,
I do think that the way that they were placed in
yeah.
were kind of slows the pace down at certain periods in the film.
I sort of like what they've done in other films. Where they're having a flashback, and in Halloween Kills, flashbacks are when you go on a flashback, you're in the flashback. But I like my opinion. I preference. I like when they do flashbacks, and they have, but it's doing as a memory, and you get the present day person sort of narrating what's going on.
Like a film noir flashback. I remember back in 1963.
Yeah. Now that's just my preference, but I think it works more better than just taking out the movie at that point.
What I think they really should have done was have like Michael come up at the beginning of every flashback and go. That would have been amazing. But no, I gotta say I do like the way that they did the flashback sequences in the film overall. But I don't think they were edited. The editing wasn't perfect in this one.
Yeah.
The editing was top notch in the first film, but I think that there was a bit of unevenness in this one.
Yes.
And I understand why. I just think they could have like been a bit tighter with the film.
Yeah.
So with all this like the negativity amongst the positivity, I guess it's it's best to give our final thoughts. And I think my thoughts are going to surprise a lot of you guys actually.
I just want to say that like both these movies come in at 1 hour and 46 minutes, according to IMDb.
Yeah.
And did they, for the second one, the question is, did they really need to hold that 1 hour and 46 minutes? Like, could it have been like a few minutes shorter? Right?
Yes. 100%. But they could have cut down on the hospital sequences. Though, no, don't take any of the Laurie sequences. Laurie's like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Like
the main characters and the new characters that were added during this movie
were well done.
Yeah.
Except, sorry, Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
But overall, they were really well done characters. Even like some people were bothered by the guy, the escaped mental patient, and I thought he did an amazing job.
Oh yeah.
So
that role was done really well.
Yeah, he did a great job. If anybody's like ragging on that character, don't be an ass. Don't be a dick. He's a really good actor. He really is.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts? Did you like it after all this?
Like I said at the beginning, it's a complex answer.
Do you want me to go first?
How about you do sort of an introductory, what you think first, and and then just ask me again.
Okay. So, overall, with as many like kind of as editing or pacing issues that I found within Halloween Kills, one of the things to get asked about is this like the worst Halloween film? It's the film that has this film hurt the legacy of the 2018 film. And after everything that I said, and I wanted to be like 100% like honest in its flaws and foibles, no, actually, I think overall, like with everything put together, there were things that I think could have been done much better in the film. But the overall our overarching storyline, as it goes forward, I'm interested to see where it goes. I do like all the characters that are still surviving in the film. The characters that did not deserve to survive, Tommy Doyle, didn't survive. The characters, I mean, he may have, he still only got hit like Oh no, he got bashed with the bat. But obviously, if there's anything, there was lacking Aaron. So just saying, Aaron was lacking in this film. But who knows? Maybe Aaron, the podcaster, will come back in the next film because he's not really dead and they haven't really found his body. And he's going to be like the next, like Sam Loomis. I do think that this film overall, like the beginning of this, I'll say, is it works. Yeah, there's places in this film where it shouldn't work. There's places in this film that does not work as well, that has issues. But as overall as a film, does Halloween Kills work? What did I enjoy it? Did I have a good time watching it? Will I watch it again? Will I buy it? I will. I 100% will watch and buy Halloween Kills. I did enjoy my time with the film. I was very frustrated, and I may fast forward through some of the hospital sequences, but none of the ones with Laurie, none of the ones with the characters that matter. With the I will not follow. I will not fast forward any Little John or Big John. If anything,
Oh no!
I'm hoping the extended
Oh my
sequence, because there's an extended version of the film.
Is it?
Yeah, we'll have more Little John and Big John. I want more of that, and hopefully it's not extended scenes of Evil Dies Tonight. Was it a badly written film? No. Was there some bad dialogue within the film? Yes. So overall, as a bit of a kind of a mixed bag as the film is, it's still much better than certain other. And I don't want to compare it to another films. Well, I liked it better than Rob Zombie's film. Ha ha. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's films, Halloween films. I'm a fan of his other films though, but I'm not a fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween films, and that's my thoughts on it. That doesn't mean oh man, I guess those films are horrible. That's just me. There's people that love those films, and for you and for people that those are your films, 100%, man. I get it. Well, I don't get it as well as you do. Obviously, they'd be my favorites too, but I'm from a different time and a different era, and that's okay. Everybody can have different takes on different films. I don't like the negativity that's gone about this film in the wrong way. People that are being super negative just to be negative, for people that just want to be, well, how are they going to defend this film? Just like this, just like I'm doing right now. There are pluses and negatives to this film, as there are to many films. As a slasher film, I find it works extremely well as a slasher film. And don't think that I'm saying that this movie is, you can. Some people have said this. Well, we can excuse the writing on this film because it's a slasher film. A slasher film don't need to have really good characters or good writing. No, this movie has damn good characters and damn good characterization with those characters.
Yes.
Some of the lines that come out of the characters' mouths sometimes, like Evil Dies Tonight, yes, a bit groan-inducing. But I've seen some fantastic movies that have won Oscars that have groan-inducing. Now, I'm not saying this is an Oscar movie. That's not what I'm going with here. But I'm saying that this is a well-written overall film. There are sequences that aren't. The mob sequence, for me, doesn't work because it's prolonged. If this was a shorter mob sequence where we get to see, but the effect of the mob sequence at the end, seeing the way what happens with the mob mentality, seeing what happens with the hysteria, seeing how it affects the town, that matters. Should we have seen more Laurie? No, we shouldn't, because this is the middle chapter, and the Laurie and Michael face-off should be in the final film. This is the final arc of the film. We don't see Laurie because we need Laurie we need Laurie even more damaged and to really come on and take on Michael and to the death. I do expect both the characters to die in the last film. Karen, she is going to, if anything, she is going to blame herself even more now after Karen's death. And she's going to be, if you thought she was ready to get like Michael before, wait till Halloween ends. So if you were complaining because you didn't think there was not enough of Laurie in Halloween Kills, this is the second part of a trilogy. It's being set up for an epic climax conclusion, and you're going to get lots of Laurie. Don't worry, you're going to get lots of Laurie in this one, in the next one, and she's going to be going with a vengeance. If people didn't think she had enough reason before, he only killed off her friends. He killed her daughter. Her daughter that she'd spent so much time away from because of him. And now she's lost forever because of him. That means something. I'm kind of hoping we're going to see Ben Tramer, who was mentioned in the second one, in this one. I do kind of think that Ben Tramer may be the dad. And we have not seen Karen's dad, and nothing could bring a dad back into somebody's life like a funeral and like a grieving mother and a grieving granddaughter. So that's something that we could see in the next film. And I'm sure Dr. Whiffula, who loves Ben Tramer, will be all about like Ben Tramer returning. So I'm expecting to see that in the next film. What about you? Your thoughts?
Yes, I'd have to agree with Aaron on. I think basically almost everything he said, because the characters were well done. It was, aside from overextension of the mob scene, that was well done. I just want to point out how much of the mob the mob scene was extended was as soon as almost as soon as as Umbrella Man enters the hospital, you know that they're going to do something to cause his death, but they extend it so long that for me personally, it was almost a groaner. but that aside, like, yes, it's a good movie, and there's a lot of great scenes in this movie, and as you said, well written, and what you said about in the next movie that maybe the father's going to come in, and I
Ben Tramer, you're needed.
I can see that, and Aaron knows that I like some horror movies, sort of like, I guess, mainstream horror movies, Halloween, a bit of Friday the 13th, and things like that. I guess Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. Yeah, but I'm not a big, deep lover of horror movies. But these are movies that I really want to see, especially after the first one, and the second one. I really want to see what happens in the third one, because this trilogy so far is going so well, in my opinion. I just can't wait for the next one.
It's going to be exciting, and I think people, any complaints that people had about this one, I think are going to be kind of waylaid with the next film. We're going to get some exciting stuff. We're going to get some big action sequences. We're going to get the final clash between Laurie and Michael, something that Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to do for H2O, and she started making it, like thinking like, okay, we're going to kill off Michael, and they keep giving her script, and Laurie looks off into the distance, thinking that Michael is probably dead. She said, "Wait, no, that's not what we said." So finally, they're like, "Well, Michael could be kind of dead." They're like, "No, again, that's not what we said. That's not what we were going with." And they said, "Well, Mustafa Khad is a clause in the contract that says we can't kill Michael." And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" But a lot of people were already hired on the set and stuff like that, so she had to go ahead of the film. But no, this is giving like Jamie Lee Curtis exactly what she wants with this film. It's giving a new generation a Michael that is, for a lot, is going to be definitely more brutal. And for those that watched and liked the Rob Zombie films, for instance, I think that this film is going to be much more along your taste, as opposed to maybe if you didn't like the way the 2018 was. If you liked the brutal kills of the Rob Zombie films, and that's one of the things that you're looking for, and you want some of the more like dislikable characters, and because that's the kind of what Rob Zombie does, and he does it well. You will probably like this film, Halloween Kills, more than you liked Halloween 2018. Now, for a diehard Halloween fan that's been following the franchise from the beginning, you're a big fan of like Halloween 78, you like Halloween 2, you like, if you're like me, you really love Halloween 3, then you're probably, then Halloween 2018 is probably going to be the stronger of these two films. But as both of these together, and remembering that this is still an unfinished trilogy, that we got here like two solid parts. And as always, nothing's perfect in these films. But if you were to tell me, oh, this is badly written or this is badly shot, no, 100% disagree with you. If you're going to tell me there's some bad editing in this film, yes. If you want to say there's some pacing, there's some place issues with pacing, totally agree. I get it. But I can get why some people may come out of this and not like it as much. But for me, and one of the really important things to have my cousin Roger on here is because he's not a Halloween fanatic. He's not somebody that's going to be like, I'm going to like them all type of thing. Feed me more. Wrestling reference. But it was good to get on like different sides of the coin. And I really, really am looking forward to Halloween. Halloween Ends. I almost forgot. Halloween Ends. Is that the title? That's the title. Yeah, that's the title. So Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, and don't count it out. Don't like say, okay, well this is I'm not quite sure. Watch it again. Give another chance. Focus on the kills. Focus on the characters. Look at all the things that were done right in this film. Don't be Debbie Downer. Don't be that person. Don't be that person in your friend group. If you look around your friend group and they're talking excitedly about the film, you realize like, how come nobody else is talking about all the horrible bad stuff? And you realize, oh, it's me. I'm the downer. Don't be the downer. But that being said, if you don't like the film, it's okay if you don't like the film. There's at least 3 to 4 different timelines for you to enjoy. But overall, yes, I think that Halloween Kills was a well done movie with some editing and issues, and that mob scene. I don't want to see the mob when they do the extended edition of this, because there is going to be extended edition. Nick Castles, the original actor that plays the Shape, he plays the Shape for one scene in Halloween 2018 when Laurie looks in the window, and he was supposed to be in this one as well, but his scene got cut. But it's going to be the extended edition. So I want to see that type of stuff. I want to see more Big John, Little John. But I don't want to watch the extended version and say, holy crap, they've extended those mob scenes. Because Aaron's going to be fast forwarding those. All right, that's my thoughts on Halloween Kills. Because Roger, thoughts on Halloween Kills. Anything else before we go out?
In what way?
What would your overall like? So let's give a score. Let's do a score in some way.
Out of.
You decide how you want to do your score.
Oh God, okay, out of 5, we'll say out of 5.
Okay.
With Halloween 2018 being 5.
Okay.
Halloween Kills, I think, would be 3.5, maybe 4. And most of those points being taken off because of mob scene.
I will give. I love Halloween 2018, so it's stellar with that one. But I'm going to give you my score for Halloween Kills, and I give Halloween Kills a Big John, Little John out of Ben Tramer. That's my score. Halloween Kills, a Big John, Little John out of Ben Tramer. Take of that what you will. I am Aaron. This is my cousin Raj. You'll see him here on the channel again. And hope you guys enjoyed the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, sorry for spoiling everything, but you should have watched it. I guess we should mention one more thing before we go. Karen's character sees Michael Myers as a kid wearing his clown outfit near the end of the film. For those that are wondering if that was a ghost or a supernatural aspect of the film, no, it was more of pretty much after everything that's happened. She sees it in her mind, kind of in her mind's eye. It wasn't meant to be supernatural. So anybody that was kind of wondering if that was going to be touched on was not meant to be supernatural. Anyway, so there you go. There's another Halloween film that's not quite as good as Halloween Kills. I am Aaron. Again, this is my cousin Raj. One more time. So, as always, stay healthy, stay happy. It costs nothing, not a cent, to be kind. Though if you do want to get on my Patreon or donate or buy merch, then feel free to do so. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. As always, here in the Occult Cinema, there's always another movie just like this one right here. And I'll see you guys soon.